Aerogen is aerosol. We're in the med tech world and specifically in the area of drug delivery in acute care. We have a technology we developed between here at Galway and Silicon Valley, which is probably the best technology out there for aerosolizing drugs, which can be then delivered into the respiratory tract of patients in the hospital environment. I always knew there was, you see, it started, I used to work developing life support ventilators, working with teams and development of that type of equipment. And I realized there was a gap in that there was not good quality drug delivery for these patients. I mean, if you think people in an ICU in any day, anywhere around the world, probably 2/3 or 50% anyhow would be in there with and requiring respiratory support. So ventilation within the ICU, obviously, there's been a lot of that with COVID going on. But when you intubate someone and sedate them, you cut off a lot of the options in terms of drug delivery. So really, even though the patient might be in there with a respiratory compromised situation, that the drug delivery is typically by injection or subcutaneous delivery through IV. So I realize really if you look at someone in the ICU who's got a respiratory condition, the three things that will determine their outcome is going to be, number one, the caregivers, number two, the ventilator and how it interacts with the patient, and number three will be the drug regime and how it's delivered. And really, whereas the first two have advanced hugely over the years, the third one in terms of the drug delivery hadn't. And so in a way it was, they talk in med tech about finding an unmet clinical need. Well, I think this was an unrecognized unmet clinical need. So I never doubted it would have a profound, if we could get the technology right, we would have a profound impact in patient outcomes. I think, Enterprise Ireland is a great organisation. We've worked with them from day one with the company, and you get early stage, even going back, this company's more than 20 years old now, but going back in the day, there was still, you're very helpful in terms of grant aid, in terms of helping you get your strategic plans together. And at different stages, we've used them now, even in recent times. Whenever we go into a new country or region, or we're looking to set up an entity in a region, we would always talk with the EI people on the ground, just get the local feedback from them, any recommendations from them. I found them an ongoing relationship with them and then we've been a company that are involved hugely in research and development. Aerogen funds massive amount each year in R&D, and again, working with partners across Ireland in the university sector and what have you. EI are always involved and engaged in that. So very good organisation, and we're very happy working with them. I guess really deep knowledge of the sector we're in, and understanding how business and business channels operate internationally, which I'd have had experience of. So, it's one thing getting the technology right, the other thing is getting the market right and getting your go-to-market strategy correct. And I think for Aerogen, what we use first off to go, if you're med tech in Ireland, the term born global, you really have to look at international markets. We aren't like, for example, the UK or Germany or America, Japan, that have big internal markets. So you can quite justifiably set up a med technology business in those countries and rely on your sales to market entry through your local channels and into the local market. And really, typically, that's what companies do from those countries. And it's only when they get to a level within those countries where they need further market growth that they push outside their own country boundaries. Whereas Ireland is such a small market that you've got to think globally from day one. And I guess having good connections with some of these larger multinational companies allowed us to partner with them as they've got global footprints. As they sold their product and we integrated with their product, it got us into a sort of a global marketplace. And then we followed up by hiring in markets that had more opportunity. We would hire our own distributors in those countries. And then eventually we built it up so we would have our own regional management in place. So we have offices in Japan, and we have offices in America, offices in Dubai for that region, office in India, European offices, obviously. So as the company's grown, we put more people on the ground, and then eventually it leads to going direct to the market. So, we're direct in the UK, direct in Germany, we're going direct in France, and we'll go direct shortly in the US. So it's kind of typical structure of how you internationalize a business. You've got to be persistent. You've got to be able to cope with ambiguity. It's never a clear path. I mean, you can read all the business books you want about how companies evolve and grow, but I think what you've got to do is really constantly challenge yourself. I mean, there's no point in Aerogen's business that we don't challenge ourselves and challenge the internal team to try and disrupt our own business. So every few years we would have the R&D group focus on how would you disrupt our business technologically? How would you get an edge on what we're currently offering? So do that yourself rather than let someone else do it for you, because sure as night as day, that's what will happen if you don't manage it yourself.